A woman slips her best friend a note during a podcast recording. Come back at 7, very important. He goes back, thinking this may finally be the night she says the thing both of them have left buried for years. She is actually racing a much uglier deadline. She needs one emergency statement on tape before her husband gets home. He misreads the moment, he tells her he loves her, she sends him away. D. By morning, the house is wrong, the dog is outside alone, and she is gone. A few days later, her husband is found dead. That is the trap. This story might save your life, springs almost at once. A woman is trying to get out before her husband realizes she is leaving, and the one person she trusts hears a love scene where there is really a countdown. From there, the truth can only reach him in pieces after the one clean chance to hear it has already passed. What did she think would happen if her husband got home before that recording was finished? Episode 1. The Note, the Misfire, the Empty House. Day 0 starts with wind. Joy, Benny's co-host and best friend, is down in the basement studio trying to finish a whale episode while the Santa Ana gusts lean on the house. The lights keep flickering, branches scrape outside, the walls make that dry, hollow sound hillside homes make when the weather turns. Their show is built for a room like this. This story might save your life works like a game. One host brings a survival problem. The other tries to talk through a way out. Some of it is useful, some of it is funny. Most of the appeal is the way Joy and Benny sound together when the pressure rises. The assistant producer is in the room too, watching levels and notes while the power threatens to cut out. And even off-screen, Xander, Joy's husband, and the podcast producer still shapes the session. He handles the schedule, the deals, the business end of everything. Joy can feel his timing in the room even when he is not standing in it. She is already running thin. With Joy, that matters. Her narcolepsy does not let her wing a day and hope for the best. She lives by a clock. Food, meds, rest, work. When the rhythm slips, her body answers fast. Benny is at the mic talking about whales and bad luck and whether a human could survive getting scooped up whole. He gets quicker when he is tense. The louder the wind gets, the more energy he throws at the bit. Joy answers when she has to. She keeps the rhythm going. On the surface, it still sounds normal. Underneath, she keeps checking the room. She already knows she cannot say what she needs to say out loud. Not here, not with anyone else listening. So she folds a note and waits. When Benny crouches by her chair to fix a cable near the sound rack, Joy moves. One quick touch, one clean motion. She slips the paper into the pocket of his shorts and pulls her hand away. No one reacts. That is what years of easy closeness can do. It hides small things. Later, Benny feels the paper, opens it, and looks at her. Come back at 7. Very important. Joy does not explain. She only holds his gaze for a beat, long enough to make sure he understands this is real. That is all she can risk. 7 o'clock goes wrong. By 7, Joy has rehearsed the opening in her head so many times it barely sounds like language anymore. When Benny comes back, she can tell at once he has been thinking all afternoon. He walks in carrying too much. Questions, hope, fear, maybe all of it at once. Joy gets him downstairs fast. She does not ease into it. She wants a short recording. Clean, simple. The show is taking a break for personal reasons. They need to get it on mic before Joy's husband gets home. That part lands. Benny hears it. A recording matters because their audience trusts the voice first. If Joy says it into that mic, it becomes real in a way a text never could. There is a record. There is a timestamp. There is something outside the house. Benny asks what is going on. Joy tries to steer him back to the script. He keeps asking, is this about the show? Is this about Joyce's husband? Is this about them? The room tilts. Joy asks about his ex-wife. It sounds like a side question, but really she is trying to slow him down, keep him on the practical track, hold the moment together for one more minute. Benny answers. Then he keeps moving in the wrong direction. He tells her he loves her. He says it plainly. No joke around it, no soft landing. He has loved her for a long time, and now the words are out. Joy goes still. Lojo, hung God. His feeling is real. She knows that. That is part of the problem. She asked him here because the night was closing in on her, and he hears an opening that has been buried for years. She is trying to start an emergency conversation. He hears a confession scene. He steps closer, waiting for something back. Joy tells him to leave. The words hit hard. Benny hears rejection. Joy means urgency. She tries once more to push him toward the door. There is no time left to sort out the difference. So he goes. He leaves hurt, embarrassed, and still confused. Joy stays in the studio with the mic, the half-formed statement, and the sound of the wind still moving through the house. Then she reaches for the recording again, alone. The house is wrong. Day one starts with Benny telling himself the night might still be fixable. On the walkover, he keeps replaying it. Maybe he should not have said it. Maybe Joy only needed help and he turned the whole thing sideways. Maybe he can apologize, help her finish the break announcement, and get the day back on track before it gets any worse. The streak kills that idea fast. The house looks wrong before he reaches the gate. Too quiet, too still. After a night like that, even the silence feels off. Then he sees the broken bathroom window. The glass is not cracked the way storm glass cracks. It is blown out, jagged, violent. Benny calls for Joy. No answer. He calls again. Nothing. He looks for Joy's husband. Nothing there either. The little MG is gone. He goes around the house, then inside, then back out again because his brain will not settle on one plan. The rooms feel disturbed, open, interrupted. He cannot name what happened. He only knows somebody left in the middle of something. Then he sees Potsy outside the gate. That lands even harder than the glass. Joy would not leave the dog out there alone. Joy's husband would not either, at least not in any normal morning Benny can picture. He gets the dog secure, calls again, listens again, and gets nothing back. That is the point where the bad conversation from last night stops mattering. This is a disappearance now. Once the police take the house, the police do not take long to change the shape of the morning. Officers come through in gloves, then detectives, then cameras. The broken window, the missing couple, and the missing car add up fast. The house stops feeling private and starts reading like a formal scene. Benny gets the questions right away. What time was he here? When did he leave? Did he hear a fight? Did he see Joy's husband? Was anyone drinking? Was anyone upset? He knows that tone. Years earlier, after his mother died, Benny blew up his own life in Tucson. A bad trip, a fight, an arrest that still sticks to his name. He knows how quickly the police can build a version of you while you are still trying to answer the first question. Inside the house, the search widens by the minute. One detective is already asking neighbors for doorbell footage. Another is talking about canvassing the road. Benny hears that and understands the scale. This is bigger than one wrecked room. If Joy is out there, the search has to move wider than the house. At the same time, he sees something else. Joy's laptop is still here. And once evidence starts moving, it may disappear into a locker for days. That thought grabs him hard. Once the police took the house, Benny lost the chance to search it his own way. So he split the job in two, let the audience search wide and let Joy's devices search deep. He waits for a small opening, then takes the laptop. It is a bad decision. He knows that even while he does it. Still, the fear is stronger if Joy tried to leave him a trail. He cannot stand there and watch it vanish into evidence before he even gets near it. Standing in that wrecked house, with officers moving room to room around him, Benny can finally tell he missed something much bigger than a bad conversation. To understand why Joy reached for him first, it helps to go back. Why Joy reached for Benny. Long before the show, Joy learned how strict a body can be. Her narcolepsy hit young and changed everything. Sleep attacks, lost time, hallucinations at the edge of waking. The need for routine. She built her life around those rules because she had to. When her timing held, she could function. When it broke, the cost came fast. That is why Benny mattered so early. First with company 17. They met at the Echo when Joy got stuck in sleep paralysis. From the outside, she probably looked unconscious. From the inside, she was awake and trapped. Benny was the one who noticed. He woke her gently. He did not make a scene. He did not treat her like a problem. He stayed calm until she could move again. After that, they kept talking. Benny learned her rhythms. He learned when to slow a room down, when to cover for her, when to hand her a minute without making her ask. He made space around her condition instead of making her apologize for it. Later, he told her about Tucson, the bad trip, the arrest, the shame that still sat on it. Joy heard the grief under the story and stayed. That is how he became the person she reached for first. So, years later, in a stormy studio, when she needed one private opening, her hand still moved toward Benny. The silence that let Xander in. Then timing broke in a different way. Benny's father died, and he had to leave town. Joy knew he was grieving. She also felt the hole his absence left behind. While he was gone, she met Xander in a coffee shop. At first, he read as steady. He paid attention. He remembered details. He seemed like someone who could make a difficult life feel more organized. For Joy, that felt reassuring. Safe, even. By the time Benny came back, Joy was already involved with someone new. Whatever Benny had been on the edge of saying, he swallowed it. Joy kept moving forward. Later, when the podcast took off, Xander moved into the work too, handling schedules, calls, contracts, travel, all the machinery around the show. Home and business started to knot together around him. That old delay still matters on day 0. When Joy asked Benny to come back at 7, she was trying to start a crisis conversation before her husband walked in. Benny heard the same urgency and reached for the feeling he had buried years ago. They were standing in the same room, but they were hearing different things. The plea and the laptop. Back on day 1, Benny does not have that full history lined up neatly in his head. He has the note, the wrecked house, the broken window, the dog outside the gate, and the sick feeling that Joy was trying to tell him something larger than he let himself hear. The show gives him one tool the police do not have. Their audience knows Joy's voice. They know the car. They know the shape of the show. They know what looks normal and what does not. So Benny sits down with the assistant producer and records a plea. This time there is no bit to hide inside, no joke to soften it. If anyone saw Joy, if anyone saw Joyce's husband, if anyone saw the MG, if anyone has camera footage from the street, the canyon road, anywhere from the night before, send it in. He keeps his voice as level as he can. That makes it worse. You can hear how hard he is working to stay useful. Once the plea goes out, the search blows open. Tips start coming in. Most of them will be noise, some will be cruel, a few might matter. Either way, the case is public now. Then Benny turns back to the quieter half of the job. He sets Joy's laptop on the table. He puts the folded note beside it. The public can search the roads, the traffic cams, the edges of the city. He has to search the trail Joy may have built for him before she disappeared. He opens the laptop and starts looking. Episode 2, The Divorce Reveal and the First Clue Trail. Joy is gone, and Benny can only catch up through whatever she managed to leave behind. This is the stretch where the case stops feeling like open-ended missing person noise. The public story gets bigger. Benny's line of sight gets narrower and much more personal. The tip flood and the locked XYZ folder. Late that night, Benny is still awake with Joy's laptop open in front of him. The public plea is already live. He and the assistant producer pushed out every usable detail they had. Joy's photo, what she was wearing, the rough timeline. The number to call, the plea to share it fast. The response comes hard and fast. It also comes sloppy. Messages stack up by the minute. One person swears they saw Joy at a gas station. Another sends a blurry parking lot photo. 3 different people place her in 3 different parts of the city. A few tips sound sincere. A few sound confused. Plenty sound like people who want to stand near a story that is exploding. Benny still has to read them all. He still has to hope one of them means something. That is what going public does. It brings reach. It also brings noise. By the middle of the night, the case is louder than ever, and Benny still has almost nothing he can trust. So he goes back to the one object in the room that actually belonged to Joy. The laptop looks half ordinary, half strange. Old audio, drafts, work folders, loose files that make sense only to the person who made them. Then one label catches him. XYZ. He clicks it. It does not open. XYZ is still locked, but not everything on the laptop is sealed. Benny can already read some of Joy's pages before he gets into the deeper file. That split matters. One part is open enough to pull him in. One part is shut tight. From Benny's side, that starts to feel intentional. The note in his pocket, the 7 o'clock meeting, the unfinished recording, now a locked folder sitting beside readable pages. Joy may have run out of time. Even so, it starts to look like she built something that could keep moving after she was gone. The pages Benny can read. The first pages Benny finds pull him backward, years before the disappearance, to a stretch of life that still looked normal from the outside. Joy writes about the lawyer Benny is dating then. She notices her right away because she does not act like staff or fan orbit or business people. She listens before she talks. She asks clear questions. She sits outside the small power structure closing around the show. Reading in the middle of the night, Benny does not have the full answer yet. The pages still hint at why Joy held on to that connection. If she ever needed legal help, she would need someone outside the podcast machine. Someone who did not answer to Joyce's husband. Someone who knew how to turn fear into timing documents and a real exit. The same pages follow Joy deeper into the relationship that becomes her marriage. At first, the details sound almost comforting. He remembers her med schedule. He keeps track of appointments. He likes having the calendar in his hands. For someone whose body can turn on her without warning, that kind of steadiness can feel like safety. Then the shape shifts a little. More daily choices start running through him. The house talk, the work talk, the next step talk. The relationship keeps formalizing, and more of Joy's life starts moving through one set of hands. From Benny's side, years later, those pages read with a different charge. He can hear the appeal in them. He can also hear the warning. Care and control are starting to sit right beside each other, even before he knows how bad that pattern gets. Breakfast and the divorce reveal. Morning hits Benny like a punishment because he barely slept. Then someone knocks. Benny's ex-wife arrives with breakfast sandwiches and coffee. At first, she looks like Benny's ex checking in on the crisis. He lets her in. She sets the bag on the counter. He tears open a sandwich and forgets to taste it. She watches him for a second, then drops the soft approach. She had been helping Joy prepare for divorce. From that moment, Benny stops seeing her as the ex who brought coffee. She is Luna now, and she knows more than he does. She tells him Joy had been planning a way out, quietly. Carefully. Papers, timing, money. The practical steps that have to stay hidden until a person is ready to move. As far as Luna knew, Joy had not served anything yet. She was still trying to make the exit safe first. And as far as Luna could tell, Xander did not know. Benny just stares at her. Then he asks the question that comes up before anything else. Why didn't she tell me? Luna gives him the answer right away. She tried. That sends him straight back to 7 o'clock. He can see Joy again in that room, pacing, watching the time, trying to get to the mic before Xander got home, pushing for a public statement, some kind of break announcement, something she could get on record while she still had a window, and Benny had kept pulling the moment toward them. Toward his feelings, toward the confession he had carried for years, toward the question he thought had finally reached its hour. He was being honest. He just was not reading the emergency in front of him. The disappearance stops feeling random once Benny learns Joy had been trying to leave Xander. That is the pivot. The generic husband label drops away in Benny's head. From there, the pressure has a face. Ander. Now, the 7 o'clock silence reads differently too. Joy did not go quiet because she was weighing romance. She went quiet because she was trying to leave a marriage, and she did not know how much danger was already walking toward the house. Luna also makes one more thing clear. Joy trusted her for a reason. She was outside the business structure. She had the legal skill Joy needed. She could hold documents, plans, and backup material without running any of it through staff, contracts, or Xander's control. Joy's phone is still inside the house. Once Benny knows Joy had been planning a divorce, the house looks different too. He goes back with that new knowledge in his head, and the place no longer reads like a vague disaster scene. From his side, it starts to read like an exit that got interrupted. The police are already moving through the rooms again. They are tighter now. Less speculation. More timeline. Who came and went? Who had access? Who saw Joy last? What stayed behind? Then an officer calls out that they found Joy's phone, still inside the house. The whole room changes with that. A missing person can leave in anger. A missing person can vanish on purpose. A missing person can even try to cool off somewhere for a few hours. Leaving the phone behind pulls the story in a different direction. Either it dropped in the struggle or the night broke too fast for Joy to take it. Either way, the clean exit theory starts losing ground. For Benny, the phone locks onto what Luna just told him. Joy was trying to leave in a controlled way. She had legal help. She wanted a statement recorded. Then something blew that plan apart inside the house. For the police, the logic is colder. Plans divorce, house in disarray, missing wife, missing husband, phone left behind. Benny present that evening. He feels the timeline tightening around him even before anyone says it out loud. The pregnancy loss and the 3 silent years. The memoir pages cut deeper after that, and this is where Benny starts to understand how much of Joy's history he never really saw. Joy writes about the pregnancy as something that begins under pressure and then becomes real to her anyway. She changes medication. She tries to picture the future. Somewhere along the way, the baby stops feeling abstract. Then the pages get blunt. 19 weeks. Blood. Panic. A body giving out on her. The loss is not framed as a sad idea. It is physical and brutal. Joy nearly dies. And from Joy's side of that story, Benny disappears. That is the part that hits him hardest. She is wrecked, grieving, trying to survive what just happened, and he never seems to reach her. He never shows up in the room. He never breaks through the silence. The pages do not solve every mechanic for Benny yet. They do show the damage clearly. From where Joy stood, her best friend was simply gone. 3 years vanish inside that wound. That history matters right now because it helps explain why Benny read 7 o'clock so badly. He still carries the scar of that old break, even before he understands all of it. So when Joy turned tense and careful and half silent, he reached for the explanation he knew. He thought the crisis might be between the two of them. He thought her silence might be about fear or hesitation or the feelings he had finally said out loud. Reading these pages, he starts to grasp something worse. Silence had already been weaponized in Joy's life once before. He just did not know the full shape of it yet. XYZ starts looking deliberate. By the time Benny turns back to the laptop again, he is looking at it with different eyes. The note was intentional. The 7 o'clock request was intentional. The unfinished recording was intentional. Luna's hidden role in the divorce plan was intentional. So from Benny's side, the locked XYZ folder stops looking like random clutter. It starts to look like the next gate in a trail Joy built on purpose. That matters because it gives the case a new shape. He is no longer staring at scattered evidence and hoping it will arrange itself. He is starting to suspect Joy knew she might never get one full, safe conversation. So she left him pieces, readable pages here, a locked file there, enough to keep him moving, even if she could not stand in front of him and say everything herself. And the trail feels aimed at him specifically, not at the public, not at the police, at Benny. A file he would notice, a pattern he would worry until it broke open, a handoff size for the one person she thought might keep going when the story got ugly. That realization gives him direction. It also makes him easier to trap. The $1 million transfer tightens around Benny. Almost at the same time, Benny starts seeing the trail. The money problem surfaces. Police and bank records start circling an attempted $1 million transfer into Benny's account. His account, his access, his name on the receiving end. He knows he did not move that money. He also knows how bad it looks from the outside. Now the picture getting built around him is ugly and simple. He is Joy's closest friend. He was at the house that night. Joy had been planning to leave Xander, and now a seven-figure transfer points toward him. Money, access, and personal motive are starting to gather in one place. That is the real turn in this episode. Benny finally understands that Joy's silence at 7 was tied to a planned exit. He finally sees that the clue trail is real and that he is already inside it. At the exact same time, the same field of evidence is starting to make him look dangerous to police. So the mystery has narrowed and the danger has moved closer. Benny is no longer searching through random chaos. He is moving inside a structure Joy built under pressure, one clue at a time, while every clue also risks tightening the case around him. And he still does not know the full history that made Joy build it this way. That comes next. Once Benny learns Joy wanted out, the story has to widen again. The next stretch has to go back through the years of pressure, isolation, and damage that made this escape plan necessary in the first place. Episode 3: How Joy Got Trapped. Joy now does most of the explaining through the memoir pages Benny is reading, and that shift changes the whole story. Benny is still searching from outside, but he still thinks one more clue might fix his timing. Joy's pages show something harsher. The trap was already built long before day 0, and Xander had been tightening it for years. The show takes off after an older wound reopens. Before the podcast ever gets huge, Joy is already carrying one older break that never healed cleanly. After the 19-week miscarriage, she nearly dies. Grief turns the house into a sealed space. Benny keeps trying to reach her. From Joy's side, it looks like he stops. Later, she learns Xander had been blocking calls and intercepting messages. By the time Joy and Benny find each other again, Xander has already learned one ugly lesson. If he controls access, he can damage Joy's strongest supper, tea. That is why the podcast feels so good at first. It gives Joy and Benny a way back into each other's daily lives. The show has one clean trick. One of them researches a survival scenario. The other talks through it, jokes through it, and tries to survive it on mic. Their chemistry does the rest. The audience hears ease, speed, and years of trust. Then the numbers explode. A celebrity share sends the show flying. Suddenly, there are ad calls, live dates, lawyers, calendars, staff, and a memoir deal. The fun little show turns into a business almost overnight. Xander steps straight into that growth. He handles contracts, he handles sponsors, he handles travel scheduling, writes questions, and the late-night email traffic. He also knows Joy's medication windows and her need for routine. From outside, it can read like devotion. From Joy's side, the overlap starts to feel dangerous. By then, the trap has a clear shape: contracts, memoir rights, staff dependence, public scrutiny, and the money pipeline around the show all run through Xander. Leaving him would mean tearing herself out of the same machine that pays everybody around her. The assistant producer joins during this rise. On paper, it looks ordinary. A fast-growing show needs help. Benny can read it as family staffing inside a small media operation. Joy can too, at first. Still, Xander's sister is now inside the workflow, inside the schedule, and inside the daily rhythm of the show. The room gets a little smaller. Detroit changes the air around Joy. A live tour makes every weakness in that arrangement worse. On paper, the tour is a victory. Sold-out rooms, bigger reach, fans who treat the show like company in their headphones. In Joy's body, it is punishing. Flights, hotel rooms, late meals, bright lights, changed sleep, no routine. For someone whose whole life depends on structure, that grind lands hard. At the same time, Benny and Luna are cracking apart. Joy sees it in scraps. Flat replies, dead air after shows, fights that sound tired before they even start. Benny is already frayed when the tour hits Detroit. The memoir stays close here. After the show, Joy and Benny end up alone in a stairwell, concrete walls, cooling air, muffled crowd noise above them. The performance energy drops out of both of them. Benny is raw from the breakup. Joy is raw from carrying feelings and fears she still cannot sort into words. They stand too close. Their foreheads touch. For one suspended second, the years between them feel very thin. Nothing clean happens. No kiss, no decision. That is exactly why the scene matters. The line still holds, though both of them feel how fragile it is. Joy cannot prove what Xander decides after that. She can feel the shift. His attention sharpens. Questions land harder. Silences last longer. Soon the talk about a safer, more private house stops sounding casual. The move to Mount Washington follows, and in Joy's memory, the two things stay linked. Detroit, then tighter suspicion, then a house that gives Xander more control. Mount Washington turns fear into a daily habit. Xander sells the new house as success and protection. More space, more privacy, a smarter setup now that the show is bigger. Joy wants almost the opposite. She wants people nearby. She wants easy movement. She wants a place that does not feel cut off. What she gets is a hillside house built around distance. Gates, terraces, narrow roads, long approaches. A place that looks calm from the street and feels harder to leave once the door closes. Well, then the photos start. Joy steps out for something small, and soon a covert shot shows up online. A walk, a coffee run, a quick errand. Each time she leaves the house, proof seems to follow. From Joy's side, the fear is real even before she knows where it is coming from. She starts to feel watched in motion. Xander answers that fear with more rules. Stay in today, let me drive, tell me before you go, use the other entrance, skip the walk, work from home, every line can be defended. Every line also makes Joy a little less free. The walls keep getting explained to safety, and that makes them harder to fight. Benny buys a place nearby, and on a map that should help, her best friend is close. The future studio is close. In practice, fear stretches the distance. A short walk stops feeling short when you think a lens may be waiting at the corner. The same pressure starts to show up at work. Joy raises a concern in one room. Xander reacts in another, too fast. She changes a plan. He seems to know already. A frustration she has not brought home somehow reaches home anyway. She cannot prove how that happens. She only starts to feel that no lane stays private for long. Benny's sister turns a dead end into the right question. In the present-day search, Benny is still moving like a man who thinks one more location will solve the whole problem. Then Benny's sister, psychologist, arrives and changes the rhythm. She does not match his panic. She slows him down and starts asking about pattern, access, and motive. Benny takes her to Joy's old apartment because that place belonged to Joy from before Xander. If she left anything anywhere that still felt fully hers, he thinks it might be there. The trip gives them almost nothing. No hidden message, no preserved clue, no private shrine to an earlier self. The emptiness teaches Benny something he's been avoiding. Joy left no shrine to her old life. She buried meaning inside active systems instead. Files, drafts, passwords. Work materials, things she could touch without announcing that she was planning an exit. That is, when Benny's sister asks the better question. Why clues at all? Why the note in his pocket? Why the layered memoir file? Why the half steps and delayed messages? If Joy trusted him, why did she keep speaking sideways? Benny has no clean answer. He keeps circling back to 7 o'clock. He knows Joy wanted help. He knows he misunderstood the scale. He still does not know why she had to hide the meaning inside so many layers. Benny's sister says the obvious part out loud. If someone thinks her phone is watched, she does not text plainly. If someone thinks her files may be checked, she hides the truth inside work. If someone is being managed hour by hour, direct speech starts to feel dangerous. A clue trail starts to make sense. The scandal outside and the rules inside start merging. Joy's memoir brings in the next pressure point through the business side first. A warning arrives about one of the show's supplement deals. It gets brushed off too quickly. Later, the scandal blows up. People get hurt. Public trust drops. Joy also learns Ander has been cutting side arrangements around the show, turning their platform into leverage for himself in ways she never fully understood. That changes the marriage again. The home life already feels controlled. Now the business structure looks compromised too. If she leaves at the wrong moment, she is not only leaving a husband, she's stepping into contracts, staff fallout, headlines, and money fights with a man who controls the paperwork. Then the memoir narrows back down to the house. After a storm scare, Xander sets up a baby monitor so he can hear if Joy has an episode at night. He frames it as care. Joy hears the buzz of surveillance entering one more room. After that, the rules keep multiplying. He wants to know when she is leaving. He wants to drive. He wants updates on where she is. He knows things she did not tell him. Reactions arrive too quickly. Home, work, and digital space all start feeding into the same pressure. Benny misses the physical signs for too long. Long sleeves in hot weather, quick excuses, canceled plans, Joy getting harder to catch alone. The neighbor judge sees the pattern faster. She notices the bruises. She offers a shelter route without demanding a full explanation first. Then Joy discovers the pills have been switched. That shock lands in two waves. First comes the sabotage itself. Someone has interfered with her body. Then comes the second hit. Joy realizes she is pregnant again, and Ander does not know. From there, leaving stops being a distant wish. It turns urgent. Even then, the exits are crowded. The house is secluded. The audience is huge. The money is tangled. The work is tangled. Her habits of dependence are years deep, so Joy starts building a way out in pieces. Quiet talks with the lawyer, a possible shelter route through the neighbor judge, memoir pages that can survive one interrupted conversation, contingency on top of contingency. Benny finally hears the category he has been avoiding. Back in the present, Benny's sister stops letting him hide inside soft words like tension or trouble at home. She asks for concrete details. Did Joy start covering her arms more often? Did Xander control the rides? Did he control the money? Did Joy stop dropping by on her own? Did fear of being photographed start keeping her inside? Did she start speaking in coded ways instead of saying things plainly? Benny keeps landing on the same answer, yes, or close enough to yes that the difference no longer helps him. That is where the pain of this episode really sits. Benny has memories for all of it. He remembers treating odd scheduling as part of Joy's medical routine. He remembers accepting that Xander was the organized one. He remembers the hillside house, the rules, the growing caution, the way Joy seemed to shrink her own movements. He remembers 7 o'clock and the long pause before Joy spoke. He remembers how fast he filled that silence with his own confession. He still does not know where Joy is. He still does not know what happened in that house after he left. He still lacks the later proof that will finally show the room itself. Even so, Benny can no longer treat the note, the memoir, and the password trail like a clever puzzle. Benny's sister forces the harder reading into the open. Joy may have been trying to escape domestic abuse long before day zero. And once Benny admits that, every sideways clue starts making sense. Episode 4. The Body, the Shelter, the Suspect. Joy is alive, and now the listener can follow what survival looks like from inside hiding because the shelter. Though Joy's memoir gives one more stretch of the run-up. This is where fear turns into planning. The Zenden hug turns a private feeling into public risk. The Zenden visit looks small at first. It ends up changing the speed of everything. Benny has finished the little studio space near his house. He walks Joy through it like a kid showing off a treehouse. The sound panels, the mic setup, the way the room finally feels ready to use. Joy notices all of it. She also notices how easy it still feels to be with him. She does not have to scan his face before she speaks. She does not have to guess which answer is safest. For a few minutes, her body comes down out of that constant brace. Then he hugs her. It lasts a beat too long. Long enough for both of them to feel it. Long enough for Joy to understand how starved she has been for simple safety. There is no speech, no confession. Or just that one hold and the fact that neither of them lets go fast. Then the outside world gets hold of it. A photo of the hug lands online. One frame is enough. Joy sees it and knows Xander will see it too. What felt private a second ago now looks like proof. If he was already suspicious, this gives him something he can point at. From there, the pressure stacks fast. Joy is pregnant again, and Xander does not know. The neighbor judge has already seen the bruises and understood more than Joy said out loud. Joy is starting to piece together the hidden shake-awake deal. She is also seeing how much the assistant producer has been feeding back to him from inside the show, where she went, what she searched, what she opened on the computer. The room around her keeps getting smaller.